This question is annoying because, it wants us to transition between the ideas in the paragraph. This is a long paragraph. It actually covers 3 pages of my test. You can see where those little bigger gaps are. That's where the page breaks were. So it's very tempting, especially if you're running out of time, to just kind of skip that over and not read. If you are running out of time, then fine. You can maybe glance at it quickly, pick an answer that feels good, and move on, because there are going to be some other questions to come that you can get right and that won't take as much time, and you want to lock in those points. Then you can always come back to this. But if you have the time, you have to take it to follow the instructions here. We cannot be lazy. We have to do what we're told. We should really look at this paragraph. And when we do, we don't need to read it in depth. We can just kind of quickly go through and use dumb summaries to capture what we think is going on, right? Remember, we're not looking for specific points that they're making. We're looking for the big ideas that tend to be repeated. So I'm going to read it. I'm going to show you kind of what I see, what gets highlighted in my mind as I do it. I'll highlight it on the page. A group of engineering students from the University of California at San Diego, UCSD, for example, tried to find a method to make their biofuel combustion study fuels derived from once living material free of the drawbacks researchers face on Earth. So there's drawbacks. There's a study somewhere. Okay. Students, great. The standard method involves burning droplets of fuel, but Earth's gravitational influence causes the droplets to lose spherical symmetry while burning. This deformation results in subtle variations in density that both cause uneven heat flow and limits the size of the droplets that can be tested. Specially designed drop towers built for this purpose reduce these problems, but they provide no more than 10 seconds of microgravity, and droplet size is still too small to produce accurate models of combustion rates. Okay, now here's the sentence where they want me to switch it. I'm not going to read what's there. I'm going to leave it kind of as a blank, so that way I don't influence myself about what should be there. But right now there's a study, and there are problems. Okay, great. Moving on. As part of the program, the researchers fly their experiments aboard aircraft that simulate microgravity environment of space. The aircraft accomplishes it by flying in a parabolic path instead of horizontal ones. On the plane's ascent, passengers feel twice Earth's gravitational pull, but for brief periods at the peak of the trajectory, weightlessness or microgravity similar to what is experienced in space is achieved. So, okay, something about space and gravity, so they're on a plane. And it's kind of like space. Got it. So what is that? 4 words I use to summarize all this text. That's all you need. So let's see what goes in this box, what goes in this gap. So we need to transition. So choice A, the stuff that's there, is the UCSD students understood that these limitations had to be surmounted. So okay, that's pretty good. It talks about the problems, right? Limitations matches with problems. They did talk about the students in the study, so that feels like a match. Surmounted maybe does match with what's coming. I don't see anything about the plane or space. So I don't know. That seems pretty good, though. That seems pretty good, to be honest. Let's look at B. The UCSD group sought to overcome these difficulties. So difficulties matches with problems. So we got that, too. Overcoming, I guess, matches with surmounting before. So there's a similar idea there, too. By participating in NASA's microgravity university program. So, okay. So it's talking about the group. And it's talking about, doesn't say the plane exactly, but it's talking about the next thing that's coming, this next experiment that they're going to do. That's a little bit better than A, because A only refers to the stuff that came before, whereas B refers to the stuff that came before and transitions, goes to the stuff that came after. That's better. So I don't know. This is maybe now my favorite. C, the engineering group, so still talking about that study, realized that aircraft, talking about planes, might be the tools they were looking for. Well, looking for what? Right? Again, it doesn't quite have as many check marks, right? It does talk about the plane, it does talk about the UCSD study, but it omits the fact that there were problems that they were trying to overcome, right? So that's, again, it's not wrong, it's just maybe not as good as B. B has more check marks. D, thus for the UCSD group, drop towers were not an adequate solution. So again, it's talking about the study, and it's talking about the problems that came before, but it's not talking about what comes next. So it has some check marks, but not as many as B. And that's why B is right. Not because the others are terrible, but because B is the best one. It does more. It accomplishes the goal better. So this is why the instructions are so important, is I'm not really picking this because I like the way that B sounds. It's not an instinct thing. It's because the instructions were clear. I need to transition. So I need to talk about things that come before and things that come after the part where the question is. So the goal is clear. I followed the goal. B follows it best. I don't really care if it sounds better or is longer or shorter than the others. That's not at issue here. We're not talking about style. We're not talking about what the most concise, shortest choice is. B accomplishes the goal. So this is why you can't be lazy, is that if we did kind of cut corners, some of these other choices would have sounded okay, right? They fit. They don't fit as well, and the more that we've read, the more ideas we know we need in the right answer here, and the more check marks that we're able to come up with. It was still very simple, right? Again, 4 words is all it took for me to know what the basic idea of the paragraph, a long paragraph. But it's important 4 words. A lot of repetition. Look at all that highlighting. Notice a lot of repeated ideas. Those are main ideas, and those same ideas are then repeated in the sentence. That's what our goal is here. So I hope this helped. This is an important thing, is you can't cut corners. If they tell you to do something, you got to do it. And it's not going to take as long as you think if you know how to dumb things down like I just did. That's what you want to do. It's not about the details. It's about the big picture. The repeated ideas are main ideas.